that revenge that you want so bad is not worth it. I used to chase, I used to get really upset back in high school. A lot of athletes will not admit this. I'm probably gonna be the first ever athlete, human, etc. You don't see a lot of humans or anyone admit this, but back then, I used to get very upset about the fact that a lot of people didn't believe in me. Like a lot of my teammates didn't believe in me, which I mean, it's not completely true. There were a lot that believed in me, but like where there's like that one person who's hating on you, and then like you block out like everyone else who's supporting you because of that one person who's hating on you. That one person sticks out. And it's such like an unhealthy thing almost, where it's like all these people are supporting you, but because of that one person who's hating you, in your head it like stands out. But anyways, I always wanted to prove that one person wrong. That one person that really didn't dislike that one person who disliked me. I wanted to prove wrong. Like I wanted to be like show him that like through my wins and everything. Like yeah, I'm the man. And especially this is more for me in a case because I'm wrestling in college now. I was a college starter first year. I don't know exactly what's nothing set in stone for whatever how much years I wrestled, 3 4 years. I think I'm guaranteed to wrestle at least 3 years. That's for sure. I don't think I'm gonna be wrestling 2 years or more, but I'm gonna be wrestling at least 3 years. But I don't know about 4 years. I'll see. I can even do a fifth year. It really depends. But anyways, back then, after my first high school season, I talked about it before. I posted in short form videos. I only ended with one JV win, and there were a lot of people that were supporting me, like not supporting my wrestling. they I don't know. Not a lot of people knew about if I was even that good at wrestling, but I had one JV win, so no one really expected anything from me. I had one teammate come up to me and he's like, "Don't quit," and I'm gonna be honest, it didn't really impact me. I was not planning on quitting because I wasn't planning on quitting because this is the first high school team I've ever been part of. I like tried to go for a sports team. Well, I only tried middle school twice, and I didn't make a middle school team twice. So I'm on a high school team, and it's not just like a high school team. It's wrestling. That's like the fighting sport, the big sport. Everyone's like looks up to those. I remember I talked about this I think in one video before where it's a longer video. No, you can go back to my early videos. There's those videos got like 1 view, 2 views. No one really watched them, but I talked about one of those videos where I saw this wrestler who had these wrestling shorts, and I used to like look at him and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like the guy who I don't want to mess with because he's got the wrestling shorts and everything, and I used to look up to the wrestlers. Not look up to them. Well, sort of like I looked at them as like a big deal. Like oh my god, like they're like they get double leg you and pick you up and throw you or throw you in your back at any point. You know what I'm saying? So when I started wrestling, I'm like, am I gonna be able to pick up these guys? Like, how am I gonna do this? And I could not pick up anybody for the first year. I did not know how to pick up anybody. The only thing I did was the single leg and the trip from behind. That was the only thing I could do. Nowadays, I'm more of a double leg. Not anymore, but I was back then. Like, well, I'm changing. It's complicated, but I do a lot of double legs where not like double leg and pick them up, but I like to do a double leg where I get close to them like with a wrist or underhook or whatever it is, and then like combine my hands together, and then sort of like so like let's say my like the my hands are like right in the legs, like I would like pull the leg down like when I have it locked, but that point doesn't matter. The point is that back then I used to look at all these wrestlers as high guys, and I couldn't really compete with them when I first started. But a lot of the other older guys would just like look at me like, oh yeah, he's just here. He's not really like bad or anything. He's not like good or anything, but he's here. But they didn't really like me. Like I was a very likable person. I mean, I'm not like as loud and happy anymore because I think I like hit some sort of like puberty or something when I was like 17 or something. Because me right now, I feel like it's completely different to 15-year-old me. I mean, like 15-year-old me in public. Like I feel like the thing is as well is because I've been so like isolated, and I'm trying to make this thing work, which I think I finally got a strategy that's gonna work now and really take this whole thing off. But you know, I've been in my room for what day is it? April, right? I've been in my room for over like a year now. really trying to make everything work. Of course, I started only posting long form videos around 3 months ago, I think it was, and right? No, 3 months ago. So I think it was like 6 months ago, 5 months ago. I think it was like October. So yeah, I think I started in October. So October, November, December, January, February, March. So 6 months I've been posting long form videos. But my long form videos in the beginning were really bad. I think around last like 20, 30 videos. Or I think ever since like a month ago, I started posting some good long form videos. Some of them got 2K views. I think one got 2.8K. One recently got a 1.9K views. So the views are, there. It's not like zero views, but you do see a lot of long form creators like that post videos for like 2 years and get no views. So I'm not really too upset about it. I really just enjoy doing this. I hopefully in 2 years this could go somewhere where, and I want to make it so like I can like fully talk here because this is something I really enjoy. I have a lot to talk about. So, but it's, imagine like a lot of people coming back to us in like a couple years, maybe watching it, and be like, "What is this guy talking about?" But anyways, let me talk about it now because I keep getting sidetracked with all this stuff. So, anyways, a lot of people there didn't really see me as anything, and I wanted to really like prove them wrong. Like there were a couple guys who come out. There was this I came to an off-season practice, like my first one, and there was a senior guy who was viewed as pretty good in team, really good on team, one of the best ones, captain, everything. He like told me like go home, like you're not good, like you're awful. And then the next practice, I went there and he wasn't there, and he never showed up again. He didn't show up again because he graduated, but that's not the point. The point is that like haters like they don't go through the process. And same thing with a lot of the wrestlers that were there. They were there for the first day, all clowning me, but the next day they weren't there. None of them were there on Halloween when there were 4 kids in the wrestling room on Halloween. Me and 4 other guys, I think it was, and wrestling with some coaches. And over time, I started, winning more and more, started increasing my status to a high point where I eventually had like 3.3K followers on my personal account, and had a post, with D1 teams that I was wrestling against, and, was getting high story views, at least 1,000 views on each of my stories, 1,000 to 1,500, something like that. I had a story, I think, from like 3 months ago, got like 1,600. I deactivated my account though, like 5 months ago. And I deactivated because I want to fully focus on content. I didn't care about that personal account anymore. I'm like, those people probably do not care about me. Like, they all know me. A lot of people know me. Most of them are from my area. But there's also a lot of, like, other college athletes, that follow that account. And not a lot came to the content account. So I'm like, all right, the content account's where my real boys are. But, anyways, when I hit that success, I started wrestling these D1 teams, got my first college win and everything. I came back to the wrestling room, to see, my old coaches who doubted me, a lot of the old teammates who doubted me, and everyone was like rooting me on all the time. And this is what you will see a lot when you become successful, start to do something that's meaningful, start to like do something that's visibly impressive. There's a difference between improving yourself externally and improving yourself internally. At that point, my external self was viewed in a high light. I looked very strong in my wrestling pictures and everything like that. So when I came back, I saw everyone all happy and supporting me, and I felt like empty. I'm like, I want to get this revenge on these people. And this sounds like so like stupid. I wasn't fully doing this for revenge, but that was like sometimes when I was like feeling down on myself, I'd tell myself like, yeah, all these people doubted you and everything. And I came back and nobody was like, they didn't feel good at all because like nobody like had that. I didn't have that big moment where I'm like, yeah, like I spit in their face, but haha, you doubted me, like, and I proved wrong, like. And that was that, and I started feeling empty for a bit. I was like, that was what I was chasing, like, and then I started feeling like I came back home and I was like, what's the point now? Because I was focused so much on the revenge, through my college, and I started losing a bit of motivation. Like I actually lost like let's say like my motivation was at like 100% before, maybe it was at 80% after. Like I actually lost motivation because I was so motivated to prove everyone wrong. That wasn't my main thing. I wanted to wrestle in college because I loved wrestling. I loved the grind, and it would improve my life in so much ways. I could really do fitness, like coaching, which I was doing. So I restarted doing it again, and the views are up Reels get around 3 to 5K views average now again. So that's pretty good on the coaching part. I figured out a way to work it really well. And with my whole story and everything, it's like if it blows up, the account, like I'm gonna make a lot of money off of it. So that's a really like the fact that I wrestled, that was also a motive. Well, I wasn't planning on coaching, I was planning on training, like personal training back then. That was one of my goals. And like if I can, be a college wrestler, I can be seen as really big in the personal training scene compared to just a normal trainer. But, I started learning, as long as I'm improving myself internally, meditating every single day, doing the right things, and being where I'm at, I'm a college starter, not even a wrestler, just a starter, competing against the best guys in the country, doing really well. Of course, I transferred out of that old college, so I'm at a new place right now, which I wish I didn't transfer out. I wish I could still go there. The issue is I live an hour away, and it's very hard to get there, so I have no way of getting, that's the reason why I can't go. I have no way of getting there right now. So it's an hour away, but that kind of sucks. So, I'm still seeing where I'm going to wrestle this year. I don't know where yet. I do know, but not really too much. It's all confusing right now. It's whole thing going on. My GPA as well. I got focused this semester, getting high, and then I'll see what I'm going to do afterwards. But, as long as you're improving yourself internally, doing the right things, and being 1% better than you are yesterday. Track everything and slowly improve by there. If you can only bench 185 for 8 reps, next week, hit an extra rep. That's a way of improving. So, improve yourself. Do not let anyone in this head. Your mind is the most powerful thing in the world. Never let anyone in this mind. Don't ever let anyone in the mind. Keep improving, keep being the best version of yourself.